have a little bit of a lag time here, so I'll just take my time introducing us. We are the WordNerds. If you're sort of new over here from maybe saw us over on the Nano channel yesterday, we're very happy to have you over here. We are going to do our own version of the sprints. Ours are a little bit longer than we usually do over on the Nano channel, so we're doing 20-minute ones. And we don't do the 5-minute warm-up. Usually we just like to dive right in and throw you into the deep end. So,
yes.
So let's go around and just say a little bit about what our nano projects are and how they're going. I've got Megan first here on my right.
Hi, things are going all right. I am right on track. I've got about 4,500 words total. And I was hoping to be a little farther ahead for the first week, but then some friends came to my house and brought the plague with them. So that's cool. But excited to write, working on a ghosty horror book.
That's what you get for having real life friends.
Never again.
And Helen.
I'm not doing so well both in life and in nano. I'm still sitting at my 1,005 words that I got at our write-in yesterday over on the Nano channel. But I am here and ready to go. And also working on Ghostly Horror Story.
Ghosties.
Yeah.
And Rachel.
I am not participating in Nano this year because I have a midterm in 2 days that I haven't studied for. So I think I'll just be kind of working on an old project of mine while we're doing write-ins, which is a creepy fairy book. Because what else am I going to write? Me, that sort of character. Are you okay? Are you sick too?
What about you, Desiree?
I will be working on my nano book, which is also kind of about fairies, but it's not going to be. It's going well. I hit 5K today, so everything else is just kind of extra. So yeah.
Nice.
Yay.
That's awesome. So we got 2 ghosties and 2 fairies, and I am working on druids, so got all kinds of magical beasties up in here. Yeah, and I'm on about 4,000 words since yesterday, so I think that's on track. I haven't looked at my stats yet, but
wow, good job.
Let's see. Maybe we can get started at the 35 for our first sprint. I'm just looking at. So Isabella asks, Rachel, how many midterms are you taking?
I only have 2, but I work full time and have midnight classes, so I don't have too much time to like fully sit down and write. And my brain's sort of broken because I have a lot of essays. So now I'm not gonna fully dedicate myself to nano this year, but I got projects I'm working on too on the DL, so we're just gonna kind of put some words to a page today for those.
Could nano rebelliously and do your essays?
Yeah, I think I probably will next weekend. I have a fun Frankenstein essay that I have to write that I think I will use next sprints for.
And Kyra asks, what's your nano channel? Basically, I just mean we're over on the official Nanowrimo YouTube channel on their official YouTube channel, hosting a live chat last night. So I was saying that's where people might have
warning.
Yes, maybe where plus more. Yes, so that's maybe where people have heard of us. So.
Yeah, because shout out to all the people who are here. This is a lot more than we normally have.
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah.
Shout out.
Opened it and looked.
Thank you guys for being here. Okay, let's first start off with our first 20-minute sprints. I have prompts for you guys, and to just sort of celebrate our post-Halloween. All of my prompts are creepy, spooky, Halloween-inspired ones. Which is for you, creepy fairy ghosty people.
I
over
refuse to believe that spooky season is over.
It's,
not.
it's all year round. I mean,
Exactly.
35, so what's that from?
so the first one is a freshly dug grave, either literal or metaphorical.
Ooh.
Okay,
Lovely.
I got my timer on.
And I will put that in the discussion section.
Perfect. time. Nice. How did you guys do?
Good.
461.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
Let's see. 612.
Awesome.
I'm slacking. I only got 124. I was fighting with my computer to give me music.
Fair. It's a fair use of time.
Mm-hmm. Started typing something, and then my computer's like, "Hey, do you want to update this app right now?" And I'm like, "No, I really don't." But I had to convince it to not do that, so I lost.
If I wanted to update it, I would tell you to update.
It was like, "No," and I was like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "No," and it's like, "You need to," and I'm like, "I don't. Stop that."
We're going
I'm gonna
to
start
anyway.
updating it. I'm like, "No, just no, don't do that."
I got like 400, and then because I realized that I had written in something that I like didn't mean to write in, that like would have ruined a crucial plot moment later, and so I had to go and erase a bunch. So that sucked. Oof. Ugh, the worst. There's some really good word counts in the comments.
Mhm.
Let's see. It's going so fast. Let's see. Prince of Ghosts got 365. Abby H got 236. Taryn Gage got 400. I so apologize if I pronounce anyone's names wrong. Allison Opeson Clement got 152. Red Hood got 313. Francesca Ellis wrote yourself into a hole. I'm sorry. That happened to me too.
Oh no.
Headphone Book got 354. Yo, I'm Soup got 755. And amazing.
Amazing username.
And Penumbra, I can't pronounce your name, but got 234 and 6 servings of schnitzel. That's
Ooh.
Yes, I saw them saying earlier that they're making schnitzel while nanoing, and it was a new challenge.
Oh, I like it. That sounds extremely delicious. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna lie. We had a sprint party for Nano yesterday with real life people. In real life, I should say. One of us brought homemade bread, and it was like
Oh.
ever. Okay, so let's see. Do we want to dive right into the next 20-minute sprint, or do we want to answer some questions and stuff first?
Let's answer a couple questions. Let's go for like a 5. 20 minutes is a long time.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so Danielle wants to know, how many obstacles should my story have? I feel like every turn stop going so fast. Every turn my main character goes through, there's another obstacle. I think I have like 50 now. How much is too much?
That's a very good question.
I mean, in a first draft, really, there's no such thing as too many, particularly when you're working for a word count like Nanowrimo.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely make sure you're giving your characters time to breathe and like think about the obstacles they're facing and how it's changing them. Because that I am notorious for just like I'll end every chapter on like a menacing sentence. And in one of the books that Kelly, who isn't here today, was betaing for me several years ago, she was like, "You know, you can end some of these on a not cliffhanger."
I don't know. Sounds fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of twists and turns and like obstacles you're throwing at your character are really good, but you definitely need to give your character and your readers time to breathe between them and kind of like digest what has just happened. And I think as long as you have that, you're fine. Like it really should be a series of things leading up to the big fight or the big climax. So there should be a series of obstacles. So you're probably good. I would.
I also really love when you just throw an extra one in at the very, very end. Usually, like, because I just finished a book where you're being led up to believe this big thing, and then there's a twist, and it was like, oh no, it's gonna happen, but we have a plan. And then they enacted the plan, and it's surprise the other people had another plan, and so it was like kind of like double, triple cross because you can always just throw another one and then at the very end. I find those very fun.
Let's see.
We had in a similar vein, Francesca Alice asked, what if my characters just mill about for the last 2/3 of my book?
It's a lot of book to be milling around.
Yeah,
that's a lot
so
of
you
book.
probably need to fix something there.
At 2/3, you should be at your climax and headed into your like after you should be heading into your climax and resolution after like 2/3 at that point. So there definitely shouldn't be milling about like because your character should have accomplished a major goal and there's the aftermath of that or not accomplishing a major goal, I should say.
Yeah. Correct.
Beyond that, though, I mean, I'm going to say there's a lot in November, but that's a future you problem if you're having fun writing them milling about. Like, it's fine to not have, like, the most action-packed plot ever, particularly if you're enjoying writing it during NaNoWriMo. You can always add more plot in revisions.
True.
Yeah, my entire November just theme is just, that's future your problem.
Yeah, but then future you hates past you.
That's true.
That's not present me's problem.
I relate.
Very many questions here. We have a question from Andrew Walker. What are some good ways to introduce magic into my story? That's a good question.
Is it already present, or is it being introduced to the main character?
That's a valid question.
That's a similar question,
Yeah, because it's kind of easy if your character, well, not easy, but like more straightforward if your character is being introduced to like the fact that magic exists, because you're introducing everything at the same time to the reader. If you have magic is out there and everyone knows it's out there, it's a little harder to work it in, but you can do stuff like how does it affect their day-to-day life while they're like going about their business, essentially. Like we're always using the Raven Boys as an example, but like in the first book, she's at a church watching dead people walk by, and it's completely normal. Like they do this every year, or I don't know what it is, every 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, or I can't remember if this is on this chat or if someone else said it to me, but one of the things someone said, like, oh, if magic is like an everyday part of your life, people are going to be using it to do everyday tasks like washing your dishes and like opening doors for you.
Yeah, like Mrs. Weasley, who like the itself, and
so it's not like, oh, magic's just used. Like everyone knows about magic and everybody uses it, but they only use it for like this and this, or maybe they do. I don't know. That's up to you. But you have to explain that. But if everyone is just like, yeah, magic exists, like everyone has some, you can just pick up a wand and wave something and it's done, then they're probably going to use that to like clean your house and like deliver your groceries and, write that memo to a friend or what have you.
Yeah, I would just think about how it's going to affect your characters and their day-to-day life and just write it in like it's normal.
Do we have a next prompt?
We do. So the next prompt is a monster you never saw coming. Again, maybe that's not a literal monster. Maybe that's a person that you thought was a great person. It turns out not to be a great person. Or it's a literal monster hiding under your bed.
Yes. All right, and I will put that in the discussion section.
Perfect. All right. We'll set the timer. And time. I'm hoping my internet doesn't kick me off. It's been acting really weird, so you guys will hopefully have Megan if I am suddenly kicked off.
We're
How did you guys do?
my computer fan, which people were noticing in the discussion section. Apologies. I went and grabbed some pillows and just like shoved it around my computer, and hopefully it doesn't catch fire. And hopefully that.
Oh no!
Apologies.
Hopefully. I just had music blasting, so I did not hear your fan. We had a good discussion about music in the comments. Some people were saying they listen to stuff with just instrumentals, and some people were saying they listen to their favorite band. What about you guys? Are you listening to music during your sprints?
I don't when we're doing like
These ones,
like proper sprints, because I will just forget that I'm on camera. But when I'm just like chilling and writing, then I have a playlist that I use. So
yeah, I make playlists for my projects, but I don't use them live.
I find I can't listen to music while I'm writing. Otherwise, I'll just start writing what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I can't listen to words.
I did that at work the other day. I was writing an email, and then one of my coworkers started talking to me, and I meant to say good morning to her, and I just wrote good morning, and then it was like, hold on. Right.
And then she was like, how rude. Rachel didn't actually say anything to me.
Well, then I just started laughing, and she, like, without ever saying anything to her, I just started laughing because I realized what I had done, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, Catherine, that's not what I meant.
Perfect. You just laughed at her when she walked.
Yeah, pretty much. I was silent, but I just laughed at her. So yeah, I was very tired. To my defense.
Fair. So, how did you guys do word count wise?
good. 613. So
Ooh,
I'm
Nice.
got an average going out right now.
Did
Nice.
329.
Nice.
I got 594.
I got 540.
Nice. You guys are rocking it. I did not count mine, and I'm too lazy to go back and do it right now. So, let's see. We've got lots in the comments. Lots of people talking about what they listen to. Let's see. And Griswold got 284. Prince of Ghost got 381. AJ Crovin got 206. His kitten her kitten distracted her for a bit. That's fair. Kittens are very distracting. Candice Ishmael Floyd got 316. Jody Coleman got 588. Diane Smith got 149. Brandai got 462. And we have some questions. If we didn't get your question last time, please do ask it again in the comments below. The chat does tend to go so fast that we miss a lot. Let's see.
Here, if you don't have.
Go for it.
Snow Kitty Girl said, I mostly write sci-fi and fantasy, but this nano, I'm trying something new and writing realistic fiction. What tips do you have for making it interesting within the limits of real life?
Ooh, good question. I'm so bad at contemporary. I tried to write my first contemporary chapter, like just the first chapter, and I had the exact same problem. So anyone else?
Take a look at your stakes. In sci-fi and fantasy, a lot of time the stakes are life and death, which in realistic fiction, that's much rarer. So look at what your character really wants, and then think about a handful of things that could stop them from getting that thing, ranging from really minor to much more severe. So like if they want to get a scholarship, do they have someone competing against them for it who also desperately wants it? Just like things like that, because, you know, there are a lot of things in our lives that feel just as important as life or death at the time. So find those things.
I agree.
Yes.
That is good advice.
AJ asked for advice leading into scenes. I tend to just start them, which is over simplistic. But I also do tend to do like a passing of time sometimes. Like someone who does this really well is like J.K. Rowling. Just be like a week into summer holidays, and then boom, she starts. So I'll do like Tuesday morning, and then start off with, now you know it's Tuesday morning. Now you know she's getting out of bed. She's done this. You can go with almost like a quick recap of what's going on really, really fast, and then get into the actual, like the now. It can be a tough transition for sure. But yeah, that's what I do. I don't know about anyone else.
We had a question from Yo I'm Soup that we missed earlier.
I'm sorry, I just keep laughing every time.
It's such a good username.
That's great.
Yeah. The question was, how many characters should be in the cast of a story? Not main characters, just named characters in general. I don't want to clog up the story with too many named characters.
How important is it to name them? Because if you're like, oh, the gaggle of mean girls, Sophie and Amanda and Vanessa and Cheryl, and like you don't need to name all of them unless they're like integral to your story. You can just be like, oh, that group. Oh, Kelly, hi. You can just be like, oh, that the math club walked by. Like you don't need to name all of them, kind of thing. Or if it's like, oh, the kindly older man behind the counter. I never figured out his name, but like he looks like a Jeff, and then just like move on.
Yeah, I say if they don't have if they're not like a reoccurring character within the book, so to speak, they don't necessarily need a name. Like I'll literally describe them by like, oh, the bearded dude or whatever that's like helping her dad move. He doesn't need a name. On the other hand, I think you can have quite a big cast of characters if you want an ensemble type of thing. Like Witches of Ash and Ruin has so many characters, and there's like at least 4 POVs just in the one book. So, but that's a little easier to do with different alternating POVs. But yeah.
Because I mean, what Wishes of Ash and Ruin probably has like 12, 15 characters that you know by name.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The original coven is by itself 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's 3 more of them that come into town. And then, yeah, actually. Oh,
parents and side people.
Yeah, I even forgot a POV. So there's 5 POVs? I don't know. The serial killer comes in and out. Yeah, you can do a lot.
Welcome to Caitlin, who just finished up a stream and is popping over here and asking how much longer we're going for. We're probably getting close to the end. I would guess we're going to do maybe like one shorter sprint.
Yeah. Do we want to do like a 15-minute or a 10-minute?
Yeah. What are you guys feeling? 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
10-minute sprint, I'll say.
Yeah. We're going to wrap it up with a 10-minute sprint.
Sounds good. I love this comment from Prince of Ghosts that Kelly appears like a plot twist out of nowhere. Plot twist.
It was a surprise.
Yeah. Do we want to start at the 35 so we can maybe do one more short question?
Yeah, this is a good one. Where did it go? From Katie. Should I switch my nano project if I don't like where mine is going?
Yes, do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
I'm always
do whatever you want.
Yes, do it. Yeah, I don't think that I used to be that type of person that like forced myself to power through, and then I ended up with a bad story. It wasn't good because I wasn't enjoying it. So
yeah, and if you don't like it, it's going to be almost impossible to get to the end of the month on it.
Exactly. And then if you have to try to revise it, well, Kelly,
Oh, no,
I see Kelly's
we
lips
hear
move,
you.
but
oh
can't hear
no,
her.
she's not muted. Oh no,
Kelly.
Kelly is a silent, ghostly plot twist.
Wow.
And the plot thickens.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Talking about twists and turns. Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
No, can't hear you.
hey, I thought I heard you. Say it again.
Hello?
Hey! Yeah, you were just too quiet. Okay, awesome. All right, it is the 35. I'm going to set my alarm for 10 minutes, and we got one more prompt. So obviously either metaphorically or actually a deadly book. So some kind of deadly book that either, maybe it's the burn book type of thing, or it's actually can kill you because it's a book full of curses or something.
Death Note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of quick. And 10 minutes.
All right.
And time. How did everyone do?
I got a whole 58 words and also ordered dinner.
I think
I must have.
accomplished then.
I got about 200 this time.
Nice.
Very good.
I have
got
no idea.
words, but it was sort of creative.
It always takes me a while to like get into, or get into it. So the shorter sprints I get almost nothing done. Let's see. We've got AJ with around 200 words. Katie Mendoza has 208. Greg T's got 345. Headphones Books got 63. Bree Mills 301. Kaylin, hi Kaylin, 303. Plotting is being the death of me right now. I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trap. Don't do it.
And Griswold got 278. Yo, I'm Stoop got about 500.
Every time.
Please come to more of our chats.
Yeah.
Shout out to your username.
Ashley J got 335. You guys are killing it.
Yes.
Awesome. And it
Thank
looks
you so much for being
Yeah, there's so many of you here. We really appreciate it.
And please subscribe if you enjoyed the write-in. You can subscribe too if you didn't enjoy the write-in. I guess we're 9 away from 10,000 and we really, really want to hit it.
Yeah, we're so close to 10,000 and we've been waiting with bated breath for a really long time. So if you guys subscribe, we'll love you forever. We still love you forever, but
That's true.
But a little extra.
The upper tier.
And a lot of people use the prompts today, so that made me really, really happy. So if anyone's wondering, I got the writing prompts from Writing Prompts That Don't Suck, which is one of the WordNerds' favorite resources for writing prompts because they don't suck. I don't think we have any questions, so.
If we missed your question somehow, apologies. There's just a lot going on. And please come back. We're doing these write-ins every Sunday. So I see a question from N. Griswold now, actually.
Oh, here we go. Okay. N. Griswold. I need a name for a magical book. How do you come up with names for objects in your story? Any trade secrets?
Look at Latin first. That's the first thing I do on these magical things.
Yeah, that's very true.
There's a really good tip I saw recently. I can't remember the specifics of it. It was like started with like keyboard mashing, but they had a very like scientific way to make it sound like a word of like adding vowels in particular places and just breaking it down a little bit. But I don't remember it. I can't Google that.
I've seen something similar just for like names too, because like if you start with a regular name and then like you mess around with the vowels in it, you can start to make it sound different. And then it's like if you get to a point where you're like, okay, this is kind of close to what I want, and you can start switching out consonants as well. And so you might start with like Kevin and end with something totally different just by like switching out letters as you go.
Even.
Yeah, Kevin with 2 E's or something.
Vin.
I tend to go the opposite direction, actually. I never feel like the ones I come up with when I'm making up things sound that great. And so I tend to go for actually like the more obvious names, you know. Like there was an example I was gonna think of that was from Truth Witch and it's totally flown out of my brain. But like if it's a forest you're trying to name and you just call it the dark forest, the black forest or something, like that can convey exactly what it needs to convey without detracting from it, you know, like if it's something that like you need it to have a name, but you don't want your readers to just be sitting there like, oh, this thing is so weirdly named and I'm stumbling over it. Like just say what it is. Or like I want to say it's in Truth Witch. They have like a forest that all the trees are like dead.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Truth Witch that I'm thinking of?
I have no idea.
It's
It's been a long time since I read them. I can't remember.
Yeah. and it was just like literally the dead forest or something like that. And like it did what it needed to do.
Deadwood or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's like been like Mirkwood and stuff like in fantasy, and that like clearly paints a picture in your head. You can do something like that. That's always great.
Yeah. The black flame candle, hocus pocus.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It's like an adjective and then a noun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a fancy fantasy word, really. I tend to steer
Or
clear.
you could have both.
Yeah, or you can do both. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But if it's easier, yeah. I'm really bad at like figuring out names for things too. I often go on those like fantasy name generators, but I don't like them. They always
I know, they're always so
Yeah.
ridiculous. They're like
Oh,
this
yeah.
long, and I'm like, I just want to name him like Steve. It's fine.
When it's
Elf.
done well, I'm
But-
so impressed by it and like I adore it. But I have not figured out the secret personally to making up a name well.
Mhm.
No, me
I
neither.
tend to look names or like names of things I find are kind of different, but it's honestly just like scouring websites for baby names and then being like, oh, I could switch, I could switch that vowel out. Or if you're trying to like name something, I really like finding really weird words, or like I have a document on my computer that's just words that I like the sound of. So some of those include like labyrinth or bioluminescent, or just like really interesting things that you might be able to like pick at later. Or like dreadnought is like such an interesting word. So then I'll try and just like pick words and then put them in together. And if you're trying to figure out like a title for somebody, just like pick a word and then put like Lord of or Lady of or something like that at the beginning of it, and then it just sounds so cool.
That's very true.
We had a question from Firespawn. When I write a story, I only focus on the relationship between two characters, and it makes the whole story one-dimensional. Do you have advice on having more characters in the story to add more depth?
That's usually what I have to do in revisions.
Yeah, I really like having two characters going head to head, like getting both those POVs and just like really emphasizing on the arcs of just those two as they go against each other. Those are my favorite stories always, and I love writing them. And it can definitely have that problem. Definitely think about like what people would they be coming into contact with on a day-to-day. Is it their parents? Is this like a royalty situation? Like which advisors would they be seeing? They must have other friends, or if they don't, it should be a plot point that they don't have any other friends. But there's always like at least a few people that you could think of.
Yeah, the
spider web it out.
The plot should be taking them to be in contact with these people. Like as long as they're not, trapped in one room the whole book, they should be interacting with other people. And even like your antagonist, maybe they have a relationship, some kind of relationship, but not a good one, obviously, with them, right? So
I would also recommend the book The Anatomy of Story by John Truby. I recommend it a lot on this channel. But he has like a breakdown that can help you with character development, particularly with figuring out which characters would provide the best contrast for your point of view characters. So having someone who like has similar ideals but challenges them, like wants to do those ideals in a different way, in addition to someone who's like a straight up antagonist and someone who like is just the best friend. And it's very detailed and very, very useful. So definitely check that out if you're able to. Again, that's The Anatomy of Story by John Truby, Truby.
So wrap up in a few minutes here, but we had maybe one last question here because this is a good one that a lot of people ask. Any advice on showing versus telling?
Oh, sorry, I just showed a
comment there.
That's cool. No, we could do that.
No, we can do that.
Thanks, Valerie.
Was that the one I was just reading?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I
okay.
accidentally clicked it, and apparently it broadcasts them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I did that last week. It was awkward.
Cool thing we can do in the future.
Here's a question. Hope it's okay. Everyone sees it.
If you're new to this channel, we are new to this streaming platform to cut their Hangouts on air. So we're figuring out StreamYard. What was the question
Yeah,
again?
I did not catch
I
that.
lost it.
That's fair. Valerie Jackson asked, any advice on telling versus showing?
No, let's see if I can find the question in breakfast.
I think focus on the physical, I find helps a lot. So if someone's angry, hey,
Very cool.
there you go. Okay. If someone's angry, instead of like, oh, they were angry, you can say, oh, their heart was beating really fast, or they were flushed, or their fists were at their sides, or something. Instead of like telling the emotion.
The emotion thesaurus, is that what it's called?
Yeah. Megan is literally reaching for it, I'm sure.
I think it's in my backpack because I was using it.
I usually have it beside my desk. I don't know where I've put it. Oh.
Yes. That was The Emotion Thesaurus by Angela Ackerman and Becca Puglisi, I think.
I think we all have a copy of that. Most all of the word nerds. Yeah, and I would also add a lot of the time where people fall short in that area, I think too, is surprisingly enough in setting description. Like often when I'm beta reading, an author will be like, oh, she walked into the room and sat down. And then they proceed to talk. And it's like, okay, show us what the room looks like. That type of thing too. That's not necessarily telling versus showing, but where there should be more showing and there isn't.
Yeah. And the flip side is you also see people taking this advice too seriously, and sometimes she just walks into a room and sits down.
For sure, yeah, for sure. But if it's like something that you need to show us, like, oh, she's in a castle, or she's in a morgue, or she's in, like, it's important for the story, then I would show us that area that they're in, that type of thing.
Yeah, and think about your five senses, it's not all just what your character is seeing. They should also theoretically, like, the room has a temperature that they would be feeling. It will have smells, for better or worse.
Even think about
fingers over things.
Even think about actions, like, say they're angry, or they're going to slam a locker and turn around really fast, or say that they're uneasy, maybe they're going to walk faster. Like those small things, instead of being like, they were uneasy, just be like, so-and-so quickened her pace, and then you're immediately like, oh yeah, okay, like I get it.
Yeah, and it's definitely okay to sometimes tell. You can definitely say, she said this and then felt uneasy or whatever. Like, it's okay to sometimes have that, but it needs to be balanced out with fleshed out description. So
yeah, and I'm a huge fan too of, if you have multiple points of view, have them like make sure that when those different people are in the same location, they notice different things. Because as a reader, it fleshes out the whole room, the whole setting for them. And then also it tells you a lot about the kind of person that they are. Marie Lu does this really well in her Legend trilogy, because June and Day are so different that when they walk into the same room, they notice so many different things, and it tells you about their backgrounds and everything.
Maybe one more question.
Yeah, we have a really good one from Francesca about creating conflict, which is definitely relevant on day 3/4 of Nano. Yeah. Francesca said, any advice on creating conflict between people? My characters are kind of trapped really close to each other, and then they don't see each other for a while.
Good question. I am really a huge fan of something called microtension. I go on about this all the time. But I really, really like it when, maybe depending on the POV, there's something between the two characters, or they both know, and no one is saying it out loud, but there's a lot of tension in the room. Like, you could say a lot with body language, that type of thing. I don't know. Sarah J. Maas is really good at that kind of thing, reading about conflict between her characters. And so just like go to your favorite books and see how the author is creating that tension there.
Yeah. And on a plot level, look at who are your not main players in the story. Most books have at least a few side characters. Not all. It's fine if yours does not. Every now and then I say that and someone jumps in, mine is from one point of view, you're wrong. And like, yes, I'm wrong in that case. But generally, most books have a few side characters who should also be like living their lives. They should have goals and things that they're trying to do. And their goal could go against what your main characters are trying to do. And to keep things tense probably should go against what your characters are trying to do.
Yeah, like if you have different motivations in different characters, like if you look at, or their personalities, even if you look at like Harry Potter and Ron Weasley and Hermione is like, I don't want to get expelled. We have to follow all the rules. Those are her priorities, right? They make a joke about that in one of the movies. Whereas, you know, Ron and Harry are like, let's, you know, gung-ho, charge forward, let's do this, let's break all the rules. And so they butt heads constantly over that, right? They have very different priorities and very different motivations. So even though
they're on the same team.
Exactly, yeah. Even if they're friends, if they have slightly different motivations or slightly different priorities, they're gonna clash. It's inevitable.
For sure.
Well,
if you missed your question, please come back next week. We're going to be here every Sunday.
We're here every Sunday, 7 a.m. Eastern. Or
Wow.
Aaron.
No. Standard time. I'm not waking up that early.
Yes, except for the 17th, which is going to be a 4-hour write-in. So pencil that in, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern time.
And again, please don't forget to subscribe so we can hit 10,000 and have a celebratory party at some point. And thank you guys for coming. You guys, there's so many of you. It was so awesome to see all of you, and you have awesome questions. You did so good tonight with the word count, and we love you all, and happy nanoing, guys. Bye.
Bye.